Hello, my name is David Nichols, and this is my final project. So to start off, most of this is just reused code from my midterm project. So I'm gonna try to skip past all the old stuff and get to the new stuff. Pretty much, I just recreated the database in SQL again. The only important stuff is really the stuff at the bottom where I insert data. So I have this user, which is me, and this is what we're gonna use to log into the system. And then these are just plans for the membership. These are just a bunch of fake user data and user information. So to actually run this database, I have this SQLite script that we're gonna run really quickly. There we go. So the database is set up, and to actually check if the database works, there's this code to check that. Oh, I did it wrong. Python. There we go. So the staff tables exist, and that's the user information, and we're going to make sure we use that when we log in. So another feature, so let's go over here to members.py. Here's where all the main features are. So for a gym membership, you need to be able to add members, and this is where I'll point out the SQL injection protection. So one thing is, if you use parameters in SQL, this makes it very easy. Partnered with an SQLite, you have a very cool thing where these question marks are actually data placeholders. So that means that when you have a parameter, this first name is going to go to this first question mark, and because it does that, you can't do an SQL injection like drop table as your first name, and it won't do anything because it gets assigned right here to this value that's already placed there. So that's a good way to protect against SQL injections. Another feature is retrieve members. This just queries all the member information. Update member. This is like if you need to edit things about a member. Delete a member. So sometimes in gym people don't pay their bills. You got to be able to delete them. Check in a member. Very basic feature. All it does is set a value to true or false. Same thing with check out a member, but this time it actually checks that a member was checked in first. And I'll show you that in the UI. And then retrieve attendance records. It just queries all of the attendance records. Next, we're just going to go over attendance. So attendance is pretty basic. It just basically shows if a member's checked in or checks in a member and checks out. Once again, it checks that user has been checked in before it checks them out. And then to get attendance, just queries all that information. Same with attendance by member. All right. And then so I did add the AI feature for extra credit. I'm going to go over that at the end. But right now, let's take a good look at the UI. This is just all the code for the UI. And I'm just going to go ahead and show it to you. So let me do python.gym UI.py. There we go. So it does take a second to boot up because of all the AI features I added. So there we go. And we're just going to log in normally right now. So David and password 123, actually capital D. And then I brought back the show password feature because I kept mistyping this. So log in. And then we're not going to use that right now, but we're logged in as David. So this is the dashboard window. This is just the main screen. So we're going to go over here to manage members. So right now we have a few members in there already. We have all these presidents, and we can edit and we can delete a member. So I want to add myself as a member. So I'm going to click add member, and we're going to start off with my name. My name is David. My last name is Nichols. My email is just going to be dn@gmail.com. And my phone number is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then my membership plan, we're just going to go off the basic one with 1. So now I can click that, and my member has successfully been added. If I now open up view members, you can see that I'm now added. But let's just say I want my name to be capitalized. Let me just edit that. I can click David. And then capitalize the N there. Click Save Changes. Actually, I have to close out of this and click View Members again. And now you can see my name is now capitalized. But let's just say, oh, George Washington forgot to pay his bill. So we're going to go ahead and just delete him. So member successfully deleted, and you don't actually have to exit out to see that. So that's basically all the member features. But we can go over here and let's say, hey, I hit the gym today, so I want to check myself in. So I'm going to click that, check in. I've now been successfully checked in. I worked out, did all my things. I'm going to check myself out now, successfully checked out. Let's say like there's a mistake and Roosevelt didn't check in, if you try to check him out, it won't work. There we go. And then we can see all the attendance activity based off of member IDs. And we can print this out. So if we print that out, we can go over here and we can see the report for that. All right. Let's go back to the UI here. And I'll just do a light, darker background so you can contrast more. And then so this lets me filter attendance by member. We could just see that. And then this lets me check the trends in attendance. So let's just say, hey, I want to see all of last year's attendance from that date to this date. I can generate the graph. Very basic data that I input, so it's definitely going to look like that. And then I wanted to do the same thing to see all my new memberships. So let's just say I wanted to see how many members I gained from last year. So we can just do that. And I gained a whole single member, which is myself. So yeah, those are the reports you can generate. Now I'm going to go over the AI features. And the funny thing about these AI features is they actually took longer than the rest of the project. So I'm going to completely close out the project. I'm going to clear this just to show you what goes on. So the first thing I did is I actually imported a model from a GitHub that was completely free. It did take a long time to import though. It was about 6 gigabytes. But then I was able, with the help of AI especially, this would cause a lot of headaches, I was able to come up with this code. And the one thing is it takes known faces. So over here I have a faces folder, and all it does is store some very ugly pictures of myself. And you only really need one photo. One thing I do recommend if you're going to test this out, make sure you take a photo with the camera that you're going to use to test it on. Because if you try, I was taking it with my phone at first, and that was a mistake because the phone has a different quality camera than the one I'm using right now. So make sure you do that. And then going back to face recognition logging, it stores those faces in a random array. And then this is a lot of code that basically just tests if it's any of these files. And then if it can find a face in there. And that basically, once it finds a face, it stores it as that user. This is the one problem that was causing me most of the headaches. And thank you to AI. It basically was my camera was not actually initializing. So this got my camera working so I can actually scan the face. And so now that I've talked about it, let's boot it up. So there it's loading the 2 face images I had, and it actually really only uses the one. And so I don't actually know if this will work while I'm recording, but if not, I'll add a video after recording on my phone. So let me click login with Face ID. It should be scanning. I'm gonna look directly at the camera. Okay, so I take it doesn't work while I'm recording, but I'm going to stitch a video of that working. That away, because I can't actually record my face and log in at the same time. So this is what it looks like when I do it. So it's gonna scan for my face. It takes a second for this camera to turn on. And that's the code that the AI helped with a lot. But once the camera turns on, there we go, it logs me in. It says, welcome David. I click OK, and it immediately gets me into the dashboard. It should cut right now. Okay. Other than that, I'm gonna talk about things that I could do to update this. So if I wanted to improve this, I would then start by adding facial recognition check-in and check-out. So it'd be something like a camera at the gym where it could see people coming in, log them in, and then log them out once they're leaving. And other than that, that's most of the project. Thank you for listening.